All right, we have a game from one of my tournaments, I think. I forget what I played this. It's myself versus Ian Zero. Um, no, I think I was just playing some Vermin League. Yeah, I think we were just using the Vermin League bot. Anyway, Beastman versus Slanesh. Traditionally thought of to be very, very favored for Slanesh. So it is a counter matchup. I thought I'd try a couple fun little things. We do have our 4 Hellstriders of Slanesh. I wasn't memeing around, like I wasn't going to disrespect my opponent, so of course I'm going to take the best unit in this matchup and maybe the best unit on the roster. Hellstrider Slanesh are incredible versus Beastmen because they don't what they lack in armor piercing, which they still have decent armor piercing damage, but their anti-large versus non-armored Beastmen is going to be incredible. All their stats are really good. They're just great. We did bring one Chaos Knight of Slanesh because I like the heavy cav and I wanted to use it. I did bring the Herald. I like the Herald. I think they're fun. I don't know. I don't think they're the best Lord, but I do think they're fun. Acquiescence and Phantasmagoria. All about the Lord sniping and leadership bombs and that sort of thing. Locus of Grace and a Harpy summon. Then we did bring Bringers of Beguilement, Exalted Demonettes of Slanesh. Generally do well in most matchups. Chosen of Slanesh. Coops made them look fun, so I wanted to try it. And a bunch of Dodo Marauders, some with whips, some with spears, some with swords. The other side for Ian Zero, we do have a whole bunch of Gore Herds, some Harpies, Chaos Warhounds with Poison, Grogcoves of Wolf Run, plus another Centaur Throwing Axes, some Ungor Spearman Herds, more Dogs. We do have a Shadows Caster with Pit of Shades. We have a Wargore Hero plus a Beast Lord, both on their chariot mounts, and then we have a Giant roaming around the centers. The flanks should be mine to control. Harpies do dive onto Hellstriders, but Hellstriders should tear them apart. Meanwhile, other Hellstriders are going to get Dogs, and we have Devoted Marauders going to help out with that. Meanwhile, a massive mobility flank with only one dog to stop 3 heavy cav pieces. It's just not going to work out. The dogs are immediately pushed off, and then I am free to roam and do what I please. But what is not going according to plan is how much damage the Beast Lord and Wargore are doing. Chariots in Game 3 generally have not performed very well, but these guys are doing work. They've already pushed off one of my Devoted Marauders, and they do massive damage to my Chosen off to the side. Now, Phantasmagoria tried to rout off some units. It did not work, unfortunately, but I do go in for the Lord Snipe onto the Bray Shaman. He is starting to rampage, I think he will, from the Bringers of Beguilement, if I can do a little bit more damage to him, but a very nice Pit of Shades cast from my opponent. I'm not quite able to get out of it as 3 units are caught up in that, but the overcast damage does cause him to rampage, stopping him from being able to run away from me. Still a great cast from him. I do have some cav on the flanks that need to get active, and it looks like they will start to do so now. On the far side, again, my mobility is overall winning, though with a whole bunch of throwing axe support, one of my Hellstriders is pushed off the map. Yes, it is completely off the map. We did catch their caster, so casters and flanks belong to me. The center does not belong to me. It does not belong to me very much at all. Chosen of Slanesh still holding, but also really feeling the burn. Not feeling great under the pressure of the Wargore and the Beast Lord. Bray Shaman of Shadow shatters, so I leave him alone. I have better fish to fry, other things to do. With my Chaos Knights, rear charging some Gore Herds, I do rout them off, and now I'm trying to get their Ungor Spearman friends. Meanwhile, Spearman of Slanesh finish off some dogs as Hellstriders chase down these very valuable throwing axe cav. Really want to take them out. The Ungor Spearman Herds don't bother me too much. So my Lord and her heavy cav contingent are still cycle routing whatever they can, getting the Slanesh army passive built up. This Giant is a workhorse as well. He's just been standing around in the middle, hitting random stuff. Now, he doesn't have great value, but he is a good centerpiece for the Beastmen. Looks like the Wargore and Beast Lord are done fighting my Chosen for a little bit. Instead, just going to roll dirty straight through the Bringers of Beguilement, doing, again, decent damage considering Chariots really haven't been that impressive in Game 3. Good for them in this one instance. Another Phantasmagoria, trying to net these guys in place to set up a Chaos Knight charge or something, but also I did want to just lower their leadership, maybe get a cheeky little rout on the Blackhorns Ravagers and leave all these guys alone. My Herald of Slanesh is going to charge in with Rampage onto the Beast Lord from Bringers of Beguilement. In the far side, the Hellstriders are still dominating the mobile game, taking out Centaurs, taking out Dogs, and Archers, really doing significantly good work there. Bounce power is slightly in my favor. I would tend to agree. So we have a whole bunch of rampaging, big single entities. Now, the Destroyers of Drakwold being healthy is a bit of a pain in the ass, so I get some Chaos Knights onto them. They have really good melee stats for Beastmen Infantry, 47 melee defense, 32 melee attack with bonus versus large and poison. But they don't have good armor piercing, so I tried to sick the heavily armored Chaos Knights on them. Meanwhile, the center fight's not going so good for me. After the Bringers of Beguilement crumble away fully, running out of juice. Now I do have a bunch of Devoted Marauders poking down the Wargore, who I net in place, so he just sits in my spears. Haha, take that. And again, my Hellstriders finish off the Grog Hooves. Just as they route from the Ogre Spearman Herds, they'll run themselves off the map. But we have gotten rid of all the Beastmen mobility. We're feeling pretty good, and we killed the Destroyers of Drakwall from full HP to dead. We're feeling nice, we're feeling great. Bounce power's in our favor. There's only one Beastman infantry unit of any significance left. I am rallying my forces. I still have Chosen of Slaanesh fighting, and my Ladyface, the Herald of Slaanesh, is going to dive in and try and get a little cheeky poke onto the Wargore. As a big Chaos Knight charge also comes in, another Phantasmagoria, just trying to route him, because if I can route him, I can chase him. I route him, I route the Blackthorn's Ravagers. Everything's still going according to plan. It's all going great. It's all going great. As my Fury Summon dies, Chaos Knights are going to go take a charge in the open field against these Ungor Spearman Herds who are not braced. They do not have their charge defense or charge reflection. They just get it at the last second. Very nicely done by my opponent. Seeing the Wargore and Blackthorn's Ravagers break out, I decide it's time for my Herald of Slaanesh to chase him down. Meanwhile, the rest of my infantry group up. And where am I Chosen of Slaanesh? Did they just route? No, they're somewhere. There they are. Chosen of Slaanesh still hanging around as all my Devoted Marauders are going away. Cav decide to take the fight against the Wargore. No, sorry, that's the Beast Lord. But they're also trying to charge the Giant. Kind of get a weird, limp-ish charge. And they're going to go back and try to fight the Ungor Spearman Herd. Really just trying to charge back and forth as I chase down the Wargore and kill him. A lot more stuff shatters. Bounce power is still very heavily in my favor, but we are running out of juice. And the Chaos Knights of Slaanesh get worked on by the Giant and the Beast Lord. Beast Lord popping Horn of the First Beast, giving himself a shit ton of melee attack, plus the Giant is 89. The Chaos Knights are still trying to get away for now. Really just don't want to be dealing with this. As I use Hellstriders to chase off the Destroyers of Drakwold. Even though they're shattered, I'm just trying to kill their models to get... I think I was saving up for the tier 3 army ability for Slaanesh. So bounce power is significantly in my favor, but at this point, it is overvaluing the Herald of Slaanesh for being a caster, and also, like, I know she's a pretty shitty melee combatant. The game doesn't seem to know that, but I do. So I think the bounce power is now a little bit full of shit. I think my opponent is going to be fine. Throw down, you fucking guessed it, another Phantasmagoria. Now is the time my brothers get a free charge off. They cannot turn. Rear charge onto the Spearmen. Big charge onto the Beast Lord. Just trying to lower their leadership enough that I can rout them off. Just get rid of them. But it is not enough. Phantasmagoria wears off. Everybody stayed in place. And now I throw down the Locus of Grace from my Lord to give everybody pretty good melee debuff stats and all this shit. Acquiesce is down onto the Beast Lord, really just trying to nerf his stats down. 8 melee defense. He is getting attacked from too many sides. He's taking way too much damage, and he is pushed off. Balance of power goes into army losses territory. It is so close. I know that's full of shit. You know that's full of shit, but I'm like, please just army loss him. I can't kill the Giant. I can't. There's nothing left to kill the fucking Giant. Just army loss, you piece of shit. But he will not. Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh staying in the fight against the Ogre Spearman Herds as I run in, as I try to finish off the Beast Lord. The Lord is dead. That should rout off the Ogre Spearman Herds, but it does, and I can just chase them. But that also shatters off my Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh. The Giant takes care of them. The Giant starts taking care of business on the Herald of Slaanesh. Look at that balance of power. I've fucking got it. It's gonna army lost this stupid Giant that I won't have to fight it. I can do it, but he's beating the shit out of my Herald. Well, I try to distract him. I just try to buy time so my Knights can chase down the Spearmen. Then I try to get away. Locus of Grace to give, wait, no, it's Sweet Sorrow. There it is. The tier 3 army ability at last. Speed and vigor to bring us back into this fight. Chasing down the Ungor Spearman Herds, leaving just a Giant on the field. Just a Giant versus my Knights versus the Herald. And we try to get away from the Giant, but we cannot. So we dive back into the fight. He gets another huge hit onto my Herald. Acquiescence is cast onto him, bringing his melee defense down to 8. A big charge from the Cav go in, and my Hellstrider lady needs to get away from him because he's beating the shit out of her too much, and I don't like that at all. But now she's going back in for a cycle charge yet again. Chaos Knights hanging out. The Slaanesh ITP is really helping, so nothing terror outs ever. We're trying to surround him. We're trying to do good damage, but it's really not doing that much for us, and we might want to go chase down the Ungor Spearman Herd just to buy some space, just to buy some time. Because he's putting a hurt down. He's actually looked like he's missed a couple shots, which seems unlikely. He's missing a lot. What the hell, Giant? How are you missing this many? Quick little charge of Ruski. Now we rampage him. mostly for the damage. Not that the Rampage is really going to stop him from doing anything effective, because he really just wants to swing at anything he can. I throw Locus of Grace onto my Knights. I'm going to go for the rear charge, but then he turns towards my Lord, and then promptly ignores her, thank God. Acquiescence to lower his melee defense. He's still swinging for the fences, but army losses at last takes out the big bastard. And we win. Rewatching that, he was missing a lot of attacks at the end. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, 1,700 on the Beast Lord, 2,100 on the Giant, 1,100 on the Wargore. This group did a lot more than I thought they would in the game. That Brave Shaman of Shadows only got one Pit of Shades off, but it was a fucking doozy. Yeah, I had too many units clumped up. Gore Herds, really underimpressed. I do think Gore Herds are not the way to go here. I understand it because you kind of want like better infantry than Ungores, but Gores just suck. They really suck. Not even just against Slaanesh. I generally think Gores are terrible. The rest of the build is fine. I really liked the Hero Core. That was strong. For my build, the Chosen of Slaanesh held forever, but they didn't get close to paying for themselves, so I don't know what you make of that, but Herald did fine, Bringers of Groundment did well, we got some key rampages that I could use to snipe out, Hellstriders did fantastically as they always do, Chaos Knights did great, and Devoted Marauders did okay. Yee. GG. Roar!
Subscribe, yes, yes.